What up, everybody? It's Friday, and we back. It's been a minute. Sam and I have, life things have happened. This is what happened when you become responsible and grown. So life has happened since we last got together. But I just want to take a minute, man. Say what's up to everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. It's a little wet here in the DMV right now, but I hope you all are enjoying, getting ready for the weekend. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, but before we get into all of that, I see a couple of people who are joining us. Welcome to Two Mics Up. The mic'd up Mayhem on Friday with my brother Sam. He rocking with me. Sam, how you doing, bro? How you doing, Sarge?
Well, just as usual, I'm totally wonderful. No issues, no complaints. Like you said, adulting 101. It's like as the weeks went by, there was a whole bunch of schedules and what I'm saying, events to the event of the event. But it's all good. We're back for the first time. What I'm saying, ready to cause some mischievous mayhem on a Friday. And
let's kick some ruckus.
Go ahead and get it popping.
Yeah. Rondell, what's happening, brother, man? Thank you for joining us, man.
What's going on, Duck?
Good to see you again. We like Sam was saying, we're gonna go ahead and just kick it. We're gonna get into some ruckus tonight and just have some fun, y'all. If you haven't, go get yourself a beverage, fill it up, your favorite drink in your cup. Join us as we sit here and we start tonight's conversation. Hey, V, what's happening? Hey, seeing you in a while. Welcome back. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
What's going on?
Yeah, we're gonna get out here. We're gonna start, man. I'm just gonna start at the top. It's been a while. We 2 weeks in, day 13, and Diddy Trial. I'm trying, right? Yeah, I'm trying. Today I felt dirty today. Like just in hearing some of the things that there's one thing just to be having body fluids this flip flapping around, and it just made me feel uncomfortable. But what's your take on what you've seen so far to date with this Diddy trial? Because we kind of been all over the place, but what's your take on where you at with it right now?
I mean, man, okay, so I don't think it's the fact of if he's going to be innocent or guilty. I think it's just going to be, what is he guilty of? Is this going to be more or less to the RICO case, or are we going to be leaning on some of the assault charges that are going down and everything? So it's a little, and it goes back to what we were saying, a few years ago. We were talking about Kells and his trial and everything. And, within our community, these are items that we knew of and everyone was speaking on it. But when it came to actual, any charges being, dropped or anything like that, or a hearing or anything, like that's kind of what everyone was waiting on. So it's like, here we are now. And it seems as some of the folk tales, I guess we could say, from that era, they're coming to life now. So, but as in shocking awe, like I feel like I should be, it's like I'm really not. You know what I'm saying? Because you hear about the parties and everything that go down. So it's just like, like here we are. So what say you?
Man, so it's one of those things where like you said, it's not really about whether he's guilty or not, because I just think he's guilty on what level, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the point of trying to really break it down to, we got the racketeering going on, we got the sex trafficking, and like for me, I think a lot of people are losing sight just with the kidnapping. I mean, holding Cassie by force and moving her from state to state, and if these acts were being performed from state to state, I mean, well, that kind of, for me, just listening, Well, we done hit the kidnapping charge. We, the sex trafficking, because she's out here numbing herself to even be able to perform for days at a time. Then to hear some of the stories from the stripper, who's compliant in all of this here, and his realization of who he was doing or what he was doing his deeds with, to then turn around and write a book about it. You know what I mean? So he's complicit, and all these other people that, Maya, and we heard from Dawn, and I really want to hear from Aubrey, really, because Aubrey O'Day, really, I mean, she's been getting at Diddy for years on how he did, Danity Kane and Day 26 and all of these other things. So I just think it's on what level and to what extent. Now, I'll be honest with you, these whole freak off things. Now I don't have money like that. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Now I've heard that people say when you have money like that, you find other ways to enjoy or pleasure yourself. I don't know about all that, bro. Like for real, I don't know about all of that. And to try to paint the picture that this was his lifestyle. Look, for us everyday people, this is not our everyday lifestyle, right? So there's some heinousness to it, to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's just some real it's some heinous shit going on, bro.
Hey, look, y'all put that in y'all vocabulary the next time. Some heinousness.
Look, bro, it's just some medieval type shit going on, and it just makes me feel uncomfortable. And it's so much deeper than on so many things, and now when you really are starting to peel back the onion, we're finding out so many people that have been hurt, whether it be by him directly or indirectly. I do believe that there has to be some accountability on his side and on his behalf. But to what extent, I'm gonna leave that to the law. But I just, like I said, what I heard today, man, with the bodily fluids, I came home, I had to take a shower. Just hearing it made me just feel dirty and disgusting. And again, as a man who has a daughter too, I guess maybe I might be a little more sensitive to that, because I don't know what I would do if that was my daughter. I can't, I can't even fathom that. So it's just a lot of, like I said, just heinous for me. But we're gonna see how it plays out, because I still think there's so much. I think we're just scratching the surface. In these first 13 days, I can only imagine who else gets dragged into it. And do you think like there's a Jay-Z or a Beyonce maybe behind one of these doors? Because we heard, we've seen some things. Now I don't know if they digital or AI or not, but do you think that we got some bigger fish to fry behind this door as well?
Well, for Rock Nation, that's a whole different rabbit hole right there, because there's some other stuff that's going on with that we might not be touching today, as far as like the subjects and everything. But I guess it comes to the point, like, who paid off who to keep their name out,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's going to be a factor too, and who's going to be willing to take the stand. Of course. And I even go back earlier this year or late last year. I remember watching a certain podcast, and there was a host up there that got pissed off that the freak-offs were over, just due to, and he was like mad adamant about it too. I'm not going to say his name for, legality purposes and everything.
Right.
But it kind of gives you that feel like, like these folks were really living that Roman Greco wrestling style, what I'm saying, once the sun went down and everything.
That old Spartacus Caligula type. Like I said, heinous, man. It's a mindset that, like I said, as an everyday person, I don't know nothing about that. And like I say, I'm not swinging in that circle either. So
now, don't get me wrong, I had my fair share of shenanigans, back in the day that are G4 classified. But with that being said, bro, I never
hey, bro.
Some of the stuff to that, the stuff that they're doing at this magnitude, bro, like I want no affiliation of it. It's like you get down like that, it's like nah.
The G4 classified, and then like I said, heinous. Y'all go ahead and spell it. If you need me to drop it in the I'll drop it in the comments. But I'm just telling you,
heinousness.
It's beyond heinous, bro. It's wild, right? Exactly.
Hey, look, we're not even We're not even talking about the macaroni.
You understand what I'm saying? We're right now. We still we PG-13. We ain't even get to all yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I heard that. I was like, wait, what? You did what to the macaroni? No. How dare you?
That's what I'm saying.
Desecrate a doggone Southern cuisine like that. Like, what are we doing?
It's wild out here, man. It's wild out here in these streets. So, you know, I want to transition then because I mean, right, G, what's happening, brother? G4 classified out here.
What's going on, G?
In these streets. And you know, then we also have you know, another situation which kind of just kind of threw me for a loop, man. Like I don't even know how to wrap my head around Smokey. You know, is he a Motown icon or a monster? You know, yeah, Shanna, but I ain't trying to. Yeah, I'm with you right now. I'm not trying to do none of the Shanna and all the Shanna and all that other stuff. We're gonna leave it alone. But you know, Smokey has been brought into the fold, if you will, him and his wife in this lawsuit, man, and by their caregivers or housekeepers, if you will. Not one, not two, not three, but four. Now I'm like, yo, now once we got past two, I had to look at Smokey different. Like, bro, like what's the problem where you have to run through more than one or two? Right? Like, to me, that's a red flag. Now I know he older. And my initial thing is this is a money grab, but this is Smokey. Like, I mean, is Pop out there now? Like, has he come to the dark side or what? Like, what's your? I see you rubbing your hands. What's your thoughts?
I mean, to be fair, no, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole because it would not be politically correct. So I had some thoughts in my head, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's tough because you look at one of the pioneers of Motown in the industry, and the longevity of his career, because shit, he's been around for damn near 70 years. You know, he was a young cat, you know, walking into Motown Records and everything. In this day and age, I ain't putting nothing past nobody. Because as soon as you sit here and you try to defend somebody, then you know there's a source or a leak, and even when evidence come out, people still don't want to believe it because in the day and age of AI technology, then things get muddled even more. So can't even tell what's the truth and what isn't the truth nowadays. I mean, it's a tough one too, especially like, you know, I've seen a couple of Smokey's most recent performances, and even then I want to tell him to sit his old ass down, respectfully, of course. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, you shouldn't be pressing on your caregivers. Is that something that you're doing? You shouldn't be pressing on them like that. So once again, your old ass now. Like you're beyond Social Security and AARP. You know what I'm saying? There's only one more bridge for you to cross. You know, and you don't need to be adding these additional stressors in your life.
Agreed.
I mean, at 84 too. You know, like, and who knows how long it's been going on for. You know,
and that's what I'm saying. We've moved through. We've gone through 4. And like you said, for me, what did it for me was a couple of, I guess it was around COVID or whatever, when they asked him about Hanukkah and he called it Chanukah. I was like, bro, he was like, happy Chanukah. I was like, somebody come get Pop up because he out here, he killing it. And
he bringing up imported cigars and shit. Like he's not even giving it the real name,
bro. So is this one of those things where, you know, is it age? Is it, you know, just all of these things? And sometimes, you know, look, I know as I've gotten older, you know, you get to a certain age, you feel like you can say certain things. Now, I don't feel like I can do certain things. Because just running around tapping people on the bottom and rubbing up on them is totally inappropriate. It's heinous. You know, we're getting towards Diddy level type action. So I'm just concerned for that, you know, because like you said, he's been a legend for so long. And this is one of those things, almost, I hate to say, almost Michael Jackson-esque, when we went through that whole thing with Michael. It just, I don't want to see him or look at him or revere him in that light. But he is a human being. So, let's be honest. And G Ware says, exactly, celebrities need to be extra careful with their dealings, right? Not suggesting that he's innocent, but there are people going after celebrities just for money grabs. So true, G. And he talked about a story today. I saw that actually while I was on the train today about Zion Williamson, with this relationship that supposedly ended in 2023. Sounds totally suspect, but the allegations are serious. People have to stop putting themselves in compromising situations when possible, of course. And I mean, look, that's just another one we've seen. I don't know if you guys saw the one with Diggs, New England Patriots on the boat, got these honeys with him and he's talking or whatever. And then he breaks out this pink bag of pills. Like, come on, bro. Like you just have to be smarter, like you said, because everybody's looking for a bag nowadays. G-Ware, especially as celebrities, be mindful of where you are, who's around you, cameras, everybody want to be on the gram and do all of these things. And like I said, so I'm just hoping, like I said, long term, I hope, that Smokey retains that image of being just being that legend, being that class guy. And we'll see how this plays out too, like the Diddy trial. But I pray for better things. And we're talking about sports and celebrities. Now we've also seen over the last weeks, and this thing is kind of really gotten blown up. This drama that continues, with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It's really, and I wanted to holler at you and really get your take on that, because like G say, but people with money have been taking advantage of people forever. Listen, that is the flip side.
That's true, G. But at the flip side, like you always hear, like, your status got to change once you make a certain dollar amount too. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, Dane, with the simple fact that you have to remove yourself from certain circles, certain people that you hang out with. There should be, and I know it's challenging because you want to live your life, but at the same time, there should be a certain exclusivity that you have too. Agreed. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a brand, and you don't want to jeopardize your money. So you have to tread a little bit differently. And I mean, everybody should be, keep your head on the swivel by all means. By all means. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you shouldn't invite or put yourself in a compromised position just for the fact of, like I said, today, because if we roll back 30 years ago, and like I said, some tomfoolery and shenanigans and, some fun times, like that wasn't, there could be a random VHS, but didn't everybody have access to that? What I'm saying? You might have like onesies and twosies with a camcorder or somebody with a camera or something like that.
Right.
But like nowadays, now you just got whatever's taking place. Now it's different angles. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. So you gotta watch what you do and how you do it, and how you move too, because you never know. Some people, there could be a hit out for you just to take you down and bring you down. So
and that part, people out here hating on you, bro. Like,
absolutely.
They're either waiting for you to fail or looking for a way to set you up to fail. And
exactly,
you're 100% right about that. Like G said, you have to move different. You have to surround yourself with those select people who are actually of the same mindset, of the same motive and motivations to move in that manner. And I think in these situations, like I said, when I look at those two gentlemen, money and equaling power drives a train a little bit different for some people. Then you have the fear aspect and that dangling the carrot,
fear and reprisal.
You know what I'm saying? So it is a little different, and I can't speak. Only thing I can say in those situations is that look,
hey, look, that's true too, G.
That's true too.
Because I remember 01, 02, there was a certain R&B artist in his pool sauna or whatever trying to get that camera right. You know what I'm saying? He was even working out the positions and everything like this.
Yeah, right.
Like this right here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was some prep time going on. Right. So, and I mean, once again, they do it to themselves. So, you know, it's not only about the people that's around you, it's about yourself too. Once again, you shouldn't be don't put yourself in compromising positions that's going to sit here and haunt you later on down the road. Okay. So I think that's the moral with all of this. You know, don't feel like you untouchable, you know, and especially with this right here, you know what I'm saying? We could never, as soon as we get that complex and we get to that mode that we're untouchable, somebody's going to send us a reminder.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Each and every time. Each and every time. So, like I said, we're going to transition to this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark situation. That's just seems like it's just not going away. I mean, she's hurt now, but it's still
out 2 weeks.
Out 2 weeks, right? And she's still this situation is still bubbling. And I've been wanting to get with you on this one, just to get your take. Because I mean, I love and we've talked about it here. I love the WNBA. I love the women's game. I love the purity of it. But looking at the whole situation, the understanding, I want to get your take because I have a lot of issues with a lot of things that I saw that have different takes, and I think I just lost you. But
no, I'm right here. Okay. Gremlins didn't get me.
Okay,
we're good.
So I just want to hear your feedback on it first, on just the whole thing, the whole situation.
Okay. So I like rivalries. I think there's Caitlin Clark is hurt, G-Ware. But I think rivalries could be healthy, right? Right now, I feel like it's like that 1v100. That little meme or whatever the hell it was that was going on a couple of weeks ago. Like, can 1 man, can 100 men face a gorilla?
Fight a gorilla? Yeah.
We don't need that debate up here either. Just let it die. But anyways, I feel like Caitlin's that gorilla, and then she has like the whole weight of the WNBA that's attacking her, just because, you know, she's the face. She might not have to be the face. But like between her work ethic and what she was doing out in Iowa to what she brought to the league, and I'm looking at it at a monetary point of view too, because they want to sit here and they're up for their CBA.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can't have you have someone that's generating revenue to the company, and there's no time to let the foot off the gas. You know, and now she's hurt, and you see it. Sales done plummeted like 71%.
Right. They said tickets was $41, now they $3. Yes, it's crazy.
Viewership done dropped over to like 60%. So you see the market value, and it's the same thing with the NBA and our current players. This is something that we talked about before. You have I said it before, as far as like workload management, you have people that sit here and they spend their good money expecting to see a LeBron, to see a Steph Curry, to see a KD, to see a Kawhi, even though his ass barely show up. But you know, and especially if they're coming into your market, which could be a low market, your Indiana, your Washington.
Exactly. That's huge revenue. That's huge revenue.
Your Memphis. And now that individual doesn't play, you know what I'm saying? The ratings go down for that game. You know, spectators, you know, all that go down, and then now you have a stadium that's losing money. The people at the stadium, they lose money too. The workers there, because you know, now if I only got like, you know, a certain amount of my arena field, I don't need to call everybody in. Yeah. So somebody's losing money on that end, and that's the same thing with the WNBA. You go from selling out men's arenas or NBA arenas with Caitlin Clark there to now we have to go back to, you know, our little high school, you know, stadium that we have, and let's dim the lights a little bit. You know, that's not how you get it. Yeah, that's not how you get exposure. And I know there's certain milestones and achievements that Angel Reese has. You know what I'm saying? She led double doubles. I'm gonna give her flowers and everything too. She's the youngest player to come up with, I think, like 500 points and 500 rebounds or something like that.
Yep.
But I put an asterisk by that goddamn rebound sign right there.
Put two.
Okay, 2 asterisks. I mean, we can add a third one because that's how many attempts it takes for her to get those points. You know,
those are her own shots. Those are her own shots.
Exactly.
Okay, so we on the same page. We on the same page.
So, like, if you want this moniker, she said it. Hey, look, I'll be the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? We need some beef. You know what I'm saying? We could do it East Coast, West Coast style. I'll be the villain when it comes to this, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you need a villain in order to get shit popping. However, like, back it up some. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit here and like, have y'all seen her do a layup or a jump shot or get in the paint? I don't even want her in the paint because she's not even a 3 or 4. They got Cardoza is healthy now.
Yo,
like, I'm talking about the Chicago.
She's the truth. She's the truth.
She is the truth.
She's the truth.
She got hurt last year, and I was just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? When she went down, I was like, that's all right. She was done for the year. I was like, she's gonna come back and she's gonna be a beast. But at the same time, she doesn't even get the time. She doesn't get the opportunity to shine because you got Angel Reese coming down in the paint, and she'll block her out. You know what I'm saying? Just so she can sit there and snag that doggone rebound. And it shouldn't work like that. Like, you got your 5. Feed your 5. You know what I'm saying? But now you can switch it from like maybe not too many attempts and rebounds to like, why don't you try to lead assists and feed Cardoza? You know what I'm saying? Bro. So like
you hit it
and the foul, dude. The foul that happened, it was a flop. And before that, what's old girl name? The center for the Fever. I don't want to call it. Yeah, she got the purple braids. Yeah, she got the purple. I can't think of her name right now. But before that, Angel Reese came over there and checked her. She's right there.
Right there. Yeah.
I can't see her last name, but she checked her beforehand, and that's how Angel Reese got that rebound. So then that's when Caitlin Clark came over there and just grabbed her hands. You know what I'm saying? Because she was going to attempt to miss a shot.
Yep.
So like that's where all of that stemmed from. Like the theatrics, that was too much. And then she like raised her hand, you know, like I'm saying, like check her and everything.
Yeah,
you ain't swinging on nobody.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Buddy came over there and grabbed your hands and like, yo, calm down. So and then everything just got blown out of proportion too.
Totally.
It became because now we start seeing it on the airways, and they don't show what happened before. We just see this foul. On Angel Reese, but it was more to the story than what everybody saw. And that's kind of what was throwing me off, was because everyone from CNN to goddamn Access Hollywood, everyone came over here and was flipping the narrative. Even TMZ pissed me off because normally they good when it comes to their research and shit, but they fumbled the ball on this one. So the only thing you got to do is just rewind the tape like 10 seconds and you see where everything generated from. So like, don't. It was just too much, and I hate that because like I said, WNBA is still trying to grow, and like it's bad enough you don't score a lot. Like I can't have a quarter go by and it's like 10-8 in the first quarter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why they got her on. You know, I mean, that's why she is the face, because she's putting up those buckets, right? And she's changed the game. And I'll be honest with you, you spoke on it at the very beginning. You said rivalry, right? And look, you hit it, and I'm going there, G-Way. Isn't that what the powers that be, wanted, to in order to drive viewership? So you gentlemen are on the same path, because really, one, you said rivalry. Well, first of all, that you have to be good to have a rivalry.
That's a factual statement.
I just want to be clear, and there's greatness, because I don't care how you cut it. The greatness that Caitlin Clark has brought to the WNBA, and the way that she's elevated the league, she's helped put everyone. They've gone from coach to first class. Their meals, the way that they're treated, and the way that they're looked at. her gameplay and her style of play has just elevated the league. Period.
Right.
Now you can't really compare a guard and a forward and a center, two different positions, but there's no rivalry there. When, like we already talked about, and you said so. Angel Reese, out of those 500 rebounds, she rebounded 300 of her own missed shots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that alone, hey Lance, what's up, brother? Thank you so much, man, for joining us. Appreciate
it. What's going on,
that.
Lance?
So I need for this to really be legitimate to me. I need Angel Reese to get better, and I'm just going to call it as I see it. Yes, rebounding is an essential part of the game, but if we're talking about like what G Ware was mentioning. The viewership is about putting people's butts in the seats and watching the game. We're not watching the game because of Angel Reese rebound. We're watching the game. The game is designed for scoring, transition, movement. So to watch someone like Caitlin Clark go up and down, Ian Secco, my girl Aja Wilson, Cardoza, those are the people that people are really tuning in to watch. And I understand Angel Reese's, and again, I want to go to this part that people made a big deal about. Right, a win is a win.
I mean, that's true. But to be fair, Chicago just won their first game.
Right, they just won. Right, they just won their first game.
They just won their first game. So you're right. A win is a win.
But I guess my bigger problem is I don't like when people try to put the spin of color. And that's where I have the problem. Where I've been listening to a lot of people like Swoops, Cheryl Swoops, great WNBA player. Some of the venom and hatred that kind of comes out of her mouth towards Caitlin Clark, I think is unneeded. I think we should respect her for what she is, irregardless of color. We have to look back because this is a sport. This is a game. It's not about color. If she's great, she's great. And if Angel Reese needs to put in that work, I don't mind you being the villain, but let's be the villain on the same level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be on that same level of great. And then you know what? I might listen to you. And then just the whole thing getting overblown. The foul wasn't even a foul. She actually fouled the girl first. And it didn't
even get called.
And didn't get called, but then this hard foul, you would have thought she got shot. And then the shenanigans behind it. And I think that's what I have a problem. If we're gonna call it, let's call it what it really is. Angel, be better, do better. You're still driving this narrative against this girl. It's 2 years in now. Find another narrative. Get better, be better, find your game, establish yourself. You rebounding and you're doing so. Stay in your lane and do what you do. And let's cut out all of this BS with racial hate. And the NBA, WNBA is going after those who are threatening with this racial hate. And that kind of really bothered me because then it kind of led into like this whole theatrics with RG3 and Ryan Clark, where Ryan Clark kind of went after RG3, not necessarily his opinion, but more about his wife. Talking about, I know he's not having any, black girl conversations in his house, kind of knocking him because he's married to a white woman. And I thought that was kind of low. And what's your take on that same narrative? Because it's like I said, now it's spilling over into the media. It's ridiculous.
I mean, to be fair, I agree with RG3. Like, oh man, that's tough. Your significant other and children shouldn't be a factor when it comes to a conversation. Sometimes we just need to keep it to the topic.
Yeah.
And let it be right there. I think that if there was a conversation that warranted, any parenting, that's something as men maybe go offline and have that discussion. But it gets a little muddled, or just like family dynamics because, everyone is structured differently. So, how would it have been if, and I'm not saying that it's that case, but what if it was a different gender? Now is RG3 going to be, is Ryan Clark going to be like, you're not having no, black women discussions because, it's two men in the house or something like that. Like you're meddling with a fine line right there. So, really just keep it at the topic at hand.
Right.
I can understand, if his wife was balling or hooping or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that might be
we can talk about her skill set.
Right. That's a valid transition. Yeah.
Yeah, because then I don't want to say it's free game, but now we're talking about the sport. We're talking about the craft. You know what I'm saying? Just like how some people just be like, shut up, leave Bronny alone. No, Bronny's ass. And like he put him, he's in this predicament because he's an athlete and he's ass. So we have to talk about it. So, that's one thing. But like, I never feel like it should be like personal. So there should be certain boundaries that we do have, and just like how we said before, media gets involved and then it becomes a different spin. Now we're taking away from the dynamic and the challenges that we're talking about within the WNBA, and we're making it something else. So, just let it be.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was no man's land. Should have left it, like you said, at the combo. And the more I listened to it, it seemed like it became personal. Right. Because I totally forgot they play together, at one point. And some of the comments Ryan had made about him, thought you was soft, thought you was corny, popcorn fluff and all this other thing. And I was like, well, is this really are we really talking about the situation? Or are we now making it personal? And again, that, like I said, let's keep it on brand and on topic. No need, whatever the personal feelings are. If you feel like you more, meet RG out in the parking lot, I'm pretty sure you still got his number. Text him, man. Where can we meet up and let's? I mean, we're gonna handle it. We're gonna handle it. We can handle it behind closed doors. So I thought it was kind of a weak play and a weak move from Ryan, which but we talking about it. Okay, so Ronell says so. See, I don't think he did though. Ryan kind of got a point on what he was talking about. He also didn't respect his wife. He humanized her, really.
He weaponized. I mean, he weaponized his wife in the background. Like,
see, that's how I see.
And I mean, like, I see your lens, but at the same time, like, the way that Ryan was describing RG3 and his wife being posted and everything, it seemed more weaponized as far as like the topic at hand. So
that's the part, because I didn't see the humanized part. I like you. I saw it more as a weapon or a tool.
To use really, against RG3.
To use again, right. And that was my take on it. And I mean, I do see your lens. Again, everybody's, we're all entitled to our perception, and we all read or see things differently. But I'm kind of on the flip side of that. And it wasn't necessarily about disrespecting his wife. I just feel the fact of, as men, and I'm talking about a situation, I should not use Sam's wife or Ronell's wife or spouse to help drill or get my point across. Right. I think there's a respect in this, that we can agree to disagree, but I think there's a respect in how you disagree.
There's codes and regulations. Like think about it this way. Like, let's say I'm doing my dirt or whatever, right? And I get caught. Now, it would be wrong for me to sit here and be like, well, I know I fucked up, but Dame out here doing, that same stuff. And, that's kind of, that's kind of the angle.
I'm like, huh?
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you gotta compart this, you know what I'm saying? Keep it in the direction that it needs to be. We don't segue, or as I like to say, don't do a side quest when it comes to something. Just keep it to the task at hand with the discussion that you're having. You know what I'm saying? That, once again, certain family or household dynamics are different. So I never actually sat down and looked at an RG3 podcast. So I don't know how often his wife is in the backdrop with whatever discussion that he having and everything. So it would be unjust for me, maybe he's sitting there and she could be popping up and just chilling and being on her doggone iPad or doing some word crosswords or something. She could be right there all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like that's his dynamic. And as we all have our own households, and we, at the end of the day, we ask for everyone to respect our household. Yeah. Because when you come over there and you say something left, then that makes me have to go left. So that I guess that's pretty much the gist that I'm getting to with a discussion like that.
Period. Well, listen, all I hope this situation dies down.
Yeah. I mean, I think the smoke will clear for one, and that's what I wanted to say earlier too. And I apologize for cutting you off.
Go ahead.
Like, once again, we're talking about brands and everything, and we're having a discussion like this. So I'm pretty sure that whether it's doggone RG3 PR team or Ryan Clark's PR team, they're having the same discussion of like, how can we move on for this? Because don't nobody want to ruin their bag. Ryan Clark just signed a new deal with ESPN or Disney, and y'all already know how Disney is when it comes to, you know, there's a lot of things that can mess up and tarnish what they have, and they ain't having that.
They ain't having that. No.
Nope, not one doggone bit.
You're right. Well, we're gonna see how this, you know, how things. Hopefully, the things clear there. Like I say, you know, Caitlin, you go to your corner. Angel, you go to your corner, and just hoop up, you know, and continuing on as we talk about hoops, man. We got part of the NBA finals going on right now. You know, we seeing, you know, OKC sitting there waiting. And man, this one here is tough because I know what my gut tells me.
Hey, look.
Go ahead. I'm passing you the ball. You go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, we had this discussion when we were talking about seeding and everything.
Sure did.
You know what I'm saying? And all I want to say is, ye a little faith. Ye of little motherfucking faith. Because
that's me.
I was a true Knicks supporter.
Hey, you were.
When it came to this, I had the utmost faith and confidence. I told you the assets that was brought to the team. Now, don't get me wrong. I have been watching the games and getting upset in the clutch with certain plays that were going on with the Knicks and their tomfoolery. But like I told you they could make it this far. I told you, like, honestly, the Eastern Conference was a doggone. You know, we were bringing up names. I brought up the Cavs. They washed out a whole lot earlier than I anticipated.
It's clear, and I said Cleveland. I wasn't.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
You know what I'm saying? But I said with Cat coming to the team that, you know, there was some potential there. You know, and I mean Boston. I mean, shit. You know what happened was
they shot themselves out the series. I mean, as fast as they were ahead. You know, like you said, with Tatum getting hurt, I don't think that would.
Yeah, it was a wrap after that.
Yeah, it was.
And I mean, even moving forward with that team, like, I don't know. The Celtics that we'll see for 2025, 2026 is going to be totally different than what we saw for this year. You know what I'm saying? They are well over the cap space. Yep. My question for you.
Nope.
You know, because there's a game tomorrow night.
Nope. Oh,
over there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, do you, Dame?
Yeah.
Dame NYC.
Yeah. I'm here.
You know, Dame NYDC. I know you multicultural, you know.
Yeah.
But do you think that this series is going to go to a game 7?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's so, if I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm in conspiracy theory.
Okay.
You have to have a big market team, right? So if you don't have, you got to have an LA, you got to have a Chicago, you got to have a Boston or a New York, right? You got to have a big market team. So New York is the last big market team still playing. So let's push this narrative, 7 games. Let the league, the viewership, sponsorship, advertising, Madison Square Garden, let everybody maximize their money. Right. So yes, I do believe this will go 7 games. Now, if I'm going to be honest,
7?
Nope. Nope. It's the Pacers in 7. It's the same team.
Pacers and 7s.
Same team that beat. There's no difference. No difference from. We just swapped out guys, right?
Right.
Now, if we're watching this series, like there's one guy that we paid for last year that has almost been invisible. Mikal Bridges. If he's the guy that we went out and paid this money for. We went and got him from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brought him over. So first of all, he's the number one key to this whole thing. He's got to score. Second of all, I'm finally glad that somebody got Tibbs, because you know I'm done with Tibbs. I want Tibbs fired. I've said this before.
Yeah.
Somebody finally got him to play the bench, because last time I checked, 11 guys always beat 6 guys, because the Knicks he played forever, right? So now we've seen he's opened up the bench. These guys cannot, because when Brunson is on the floor, let's call it what it is. It's pound, 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 till we down to about 6 seconds on the clock. Either he's going to take a shot or he's going to pass and somebody has to shoot.
Yeah.
And that's usually it, right? Mitchell Robinson has been hell on the boards. Cat, they have nobody to stop Cat. But when you see guys like Deuce on the floor, Deleon Wright, Shamet, Payne hasn't played. Print. You need those guys on the floor because it changes the flow of the game. They can no longer pinpoint Brunson and Cat. You actually got to play defense, right? So if we do those things, do we have a chance to win in 7? Yes, we do. But again, conspiracy theory. You tell me in the game last night, Halliburton, who damn near had a triple-double the game before, he took less than 10 shots. In what world does Halliburton, and then he's on the bench laughing as the game is going on, and actually the dude is laughing. So that just tells me, okay, somebody knows something about something, because this is your best player in a game closing scenario. He takes less than 10 shots. He's not even on the floor, and he's on the bench laughing. Like, all of these things to me, this say rigged. It's a rigged finals. So yes, it'll go 7, but Indiana will be in the finals playing OKC.
Okay.
Book it. I just said it.
Book it.
Book it.
I will. I think the Knicks can win the game 7. I think it's going to move to 7 games. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to see doggone Spike Lee in a different colorway suit.
Hey, no disrespect to Spike, man. I love you, bro.
No disrespect to
Spike.
That
was terrible.
He rolled out in that zoot suit. I was like, I don't know if I'm watching Malcolm X or No Better Blues. It was a toss up between the both of them.
Look, I got my orange wall here, bro. But this is about as far as I'm going. Okay, that suit was horrible.
Another side quest, a side check. Shout out to Thibodeau's doggone barber.
Yo, Yo, the comb over is not even coming over no more.
Yo, it's not even. It's just a.
Go.
It's just a. You know what I'm saying? Like when you. Yeah. When you go to the barbershop, like, what are we asking for, my guy? Like,
bro, he's not asking for anything. Yeah. He should just be on it. Yo, just give me that clean. Just give me a clean.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that he's sitting there, you know, and how some of our folks get in their hairline and everything tatted.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's moving to. He's just getting the Homer Simpson or Charlie Brown stripes just like penciled in. Man. You know what I'm saying? But if New York, there was a different switch that they hit yesterday, and granted, like, you know, I find it odd too. I don't know, just in general, what happened to like the offensive rebounding in a game, because you don't see it anymore. That's one of my pet peeves about like the current state of the NBA. It's just like somebody jacks up a 3, I'm already running down, getting ready to play defense, whether it goes in or not. Like, there's nobody like attacking the boards like we used to.
It's funny you mentioned, because so a friend of ours, you know, big tall friend of ours, we watched one of the game, and we broke that down. So if you watch both teams, it's like a 1-4 set, right? Basically, everybody is either around the 3-point line or across the top of the foul line. Yeah. Nobody rolls to the basket. Well, Indiana was, and that's how they were killing the Knicks in the first couple of games. They figured it out. They would, you know, have Siakam at the top, set a screen, and dive down the middle. Or they would have Miles Turner do it. So that's how they were killing the Knicks early on. But if you watch both teams, and you watch most games now, everybody's perimeter based and across the front. Nobody's diving. When they're jacking up shots, how are you rebounding when you got the other 4 guys are already 15 to 18 feet out? There's nobody really making that hustle play. I mean, thank God for Josh Hart. You know, he's one of the smallest guys, but he's making the hustle plays for the Knicks. But it's not on a lot of times it's not offensive rebounds, but he usually is the one, though, when they do get those second chance shots. It's usually Josh Hart on the hustle. And he's one of the smallest guys on the floor, you know, having double doubles almost every night. They don't call a play for him. You know, it's all Hart and hustle. But again, though, you can't live like that day in and day out, especially in a 7-game series, you know, with a team that, I mean, it blows my mind with Indiana. You're bigger than the Knicks across the front. I mean, you got Josh Hart trying to stop, you know, Siakam or Miles Turner in the post. I would be beating the hell out of if it was me. But again, though,
and they're faster. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Just the running. There's so many facets to this that it just blows my mind. And again, it plays into my conspiracy theory, because like some things just don't jive to me. But look, I'm thankful. Like I said, I appreciate you being a Knicks supporter and keeping me afloat. But
I'm here for you.
Next Thursday, OKC, Indiana. down in OKC. I mean, OKC's been the best team all year.
Yeah.
I was a little questionable, I think Ant and the Wolves, they just shrunk under the lights. I was expecting a better series. But shout out to OKC. I honestly, I think this is their year. Right now, the teams that are left, I think this is their year. I think they're going to be able to handle the size of Indiana, and I just think they got better pieces to run with Shy. And but I think it's going to be a good series. I think this will be one of the better series that we've seen in a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, last but not least, we're gonna slide into the draft. We hadn't had talked a little football, but I want to talk about the draft and everything, and just really I want to limit it if we can. Right now we're just going to talk about our two teams, and maybe talk about a surprise or two that maybe you saw. I think we all definitely have the Shedeur Sanders story, and I guess maybe just start there. Just the precipitous fall, if you will, of a guy who at one point was considered potentially the number one in the draft, to go into the 5th round to the Browns, who I think Dion said over the summer that one place his son would never go. He would, well, here we go. So what's your take on that scenario?
Hey, look, I understand family, but when it comes to business, it's business. I think with Shiloh and Shedeur, they didn't have agents going for them. And even Shiloh brought it up, like once he was part of that undrafted pool, that I had to just tap my dad on the shoulder and be like, I gotta call an agent in to get me somewhere. Right. Luckily for that, he was able to sign the deal and everything. And I don't know, I've always been torn when it comes to, I don't know what these what the coaches or the front office saw when it came to the interviews that was conducted with Shedeur. I know that being a Sanders, like there's a certain swag and confidence that exudes with you.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could have been him in the tail. I don't know for sure. I know that there's certain video footage that apparently they're trying to keep under wraps that they don't want us to see when it comes to the interview process and everything. But now that he has the opportunity, because when you look at Cleveland stable, I mean, there's absolutely 100% chance. Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett. Who's the other? What's
Gabriel from
Gabriel Dillon.
From Oregon.
And then doggone Shiloh. So apparently there's huge raves and reviews about Shiloh's performance during these OTAs and everything. So he has the opportunity to lead. And I mean, basically just come in and show everyone like why you should have been drafted higher. It's like I said, and I get it. Like, even when he was in Colorado, maybe not so much Jackson State, but like his demeanor, it hasn't changed.
No.
But I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to go too far in because like I said, it's the individual. It's the player, I should say. But just we're in the business, like you gotta.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Do you think it was maybe not so much the individual, but so much maybe it was deeper than that? Maybe it was just the fact of Dion, we gonna show you. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of taking it out on his kids because of his outspokenness, his truthfulness, about him talking about, hey, well, I know what's behind the curtain with some of these teams, and I've been in conversation. So do you think this may have been a little bit of a deeper thing when it came to Shedeur? I'm not gonna say necessarily Shallow. I think I always felt Shallow would have to somewhat earn.
He needed to earn his stripes.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He got kind of overshadowed, especially defensively with Travis, playing side by side with Travis. Yeah,
I agree.
maybe. I mean, once again, that's something that's, now the only way, in theory, the only way I could kind of see something like that is if, if some of these teams are calling, and they're not talking to Shador, they're talking to Dion, and he's like I said, I don't know what happened behind camera, so I mean, there's a probability that could be the case, and of course, all these teams are talking to each other. We already know that, whether it's with draft picks or somebody could be like, oh, hey, you skipped on Sanders, why? You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be some type of crosstalk there. I'm gonna go with my initial instinct because I think for me, it's like a job interview. Presentation is everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind if somebody, and I've been in interviews, I've conducted interviews. I don't mind. There's a certain confidence that I have in myself. But I make sure that I'm humble enough that it doesn't turn into arrogance if somebody gets the wrong picture. And once again, I'm just dropping something out there. It could have not even happened that way. But just based off of some of the feedback we haven't received a lot. But just based off of some of the feedback that we got between New York, Tennessee, the initial reaction with doggone Cleveland. You saw how it was when Cleveland drafted him, and how the coaching staff, like they were not pleased. You know what I'm saying? They
zero enthusiasm.
Yeah, they were straight as a doggone sharp as a razor. Like there was no emotions right there. When
that was one of those that wasn't our call. That was the boss's call, right? You know what I'm saying? Like no emotion, no enthusiasm whatsoever. So I'm with you.
I am shocked at some of the teams that. I mean, didn't nobody know Derek Carr was going to retire? You know what I'm saying? However,
I would have got him to compete if I was Charlotte or the Panthers.
Yeah,
I would have grabbed him because he would have to compete. Old boy, damn young boy. I mean, he kind of showed some signs towards the end, but I'm like, I want the best talent in my quarterback room, and I would have brought in another young talent to challenge him, as my quarterback. Same thing, Arizona. I think Arizona could have used a challenge because I'm not. Colin Murray hasn't shown me much. Like there are a couple
Arizona,
of teams right?
Yeah, I said it with New Orleans, Tennessee. Even in Seattle because there's an unknown there too.
Right. You don't know
just like how you're talking about. Yeah, just how you're talking about Carolina. I would toss Miami in the mix just because.
Why not? Right.
Tua can't stay healthy. I mean, let's just be honest with that one. You know what I'm saying? He's truly, I mean, you saw the second half of the season, and I still think to this day that they were being a whole lot lenient with him when he came back.
Yeah.
Then, because he was reckless beforehand.
Yeah.
But like you can tell, like when that front four lined up and they would like press the doggone offensive line.
But it was some
timidness. Yeah. There was a little bit of timidness that was staged right there. Listen, so I was
was like, look, I don't want to be the one to kill this man. Like, you know basically, what I'm saying? Like, that's what it came across as. I agree.
You gonna fall on his own sword. It ain't gonna be by me.
Right. I agree with you on
that. I don't know. We hear other things about other athletes as far as like why their market value depreciates, whether it's an injury that happened, their last year of playing, and will they be able to recover if there's any legal action that happens. Shador seems to be like one of those anomalies. So, just because of the namesake. But once again, I think his namesake carried over to how he presented himself in some of these in some of these interviews that he had, or visiting when he went and visited some of these teams and everything. And I'm not saying change yourself for anything or anyone. I would be the last one to say that, but like I said, there just needs to be some type of balance there, because I know a lot of ABNs out there. I know a lot of assholes by nature.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take that away from nobody, but just
be yourself. But I think he should have been prepared or prepped.
Yes.
To be able to, if it's true, like you said. We hear all of this here about it. maybe he should have been worked with and prepped to be able to prepare better for these interviews. Don't know that to be the case. I think though he landed in a good situation. I think given the opportunity, and that's going to be the key. He's already probably, because of where he was drafted, they're not looking at talent, they're looking at draft and capital that they've paid. He's going to have to eat off of limited food. So when he eats, he's got to show his true talent to really get a bigger portion. But I think he's in a good situation. I think he'll have good success. Same thing with his brother. I think his brother landing in Tampa, I think that's a good place for him.
Right.
They're kind of middle of the road. Like they have some expectations, some playoff expectations, winning their division and making that playoff thing. But I think it allows him room to grow. And I really think Shiloh is a lot better than I think people give credit for. Like you said, though, I will agree. It's kind of hard to come out of the shadow of a Travis Hunter who is doing things on both sides of the ball and doing it at such a high level. So I think some of his work got overshadowed, but I think he's in a good situation too. So I think, for the Sanders brothers, I think they'll be fine, given long term. And
speaking of Shiloh,
do
you think that he'll be a true two-way player for this upcoming season?
Shiloh or Travis?
Travis. Yes.
All right. So that I have to be honest. I think he will be. Just being honest, because that's what, to my understanding, that's why he wanted to be drafted, and that's what they drafted him as.
Right.
But being realistic, NFL is not college. The talent is the same or better every week. Where in college, let's just call it what, sometimes you can take a week off. You're playing lesser talent. I would hate to see him age or get hurt doing this for an extended period of time. I think it's unique. I do think he can do it the first or second year while he's young, but I think at some point he's going to have to make a decision on where he wants to play and where he's best suited to play, because he's going to get old quick, in my opinion, not trying, because I think he can, but he's going to age really quick, man. And injuries and different things, I think it can show up a lot faster as he ages, just like most of us, as we age and progress, the body parts just don't bounce back and, things just don't happen. So let's see, 2 years from now, is there a conversation where he has with himself, maybe like, hey, this is not working. He's not producing at that same level, and readdress it then. But right now, this year? Yeah, he's committed to it. And I think they're committed to it. Now, let's see how it turns out. And I think that'll play it. But long term, no, I think he's going to commit one way or the other to one side.
Okay.
Eventually. But again, it's exciting. It's something to talk about, right? So we'll be talking about that. And talking about that, let's talk about your Packers. Like, how do you feel when you look at your Packers and the draft and what you guys have accomplished so far, as we prepare for the 2025-2026 season?
I'm actually, I feel good.
Okay.
It wasn't one of those years that I looked like confused as hell with the signings that we have. I am really happy about our pickup from Texas. Golden, I think his name is. I'm really, because I love our receiver stable. I think I said this before. You know what I'm saying? With Watson, Dobbs, who else is out there? Watson, Dobbs, Heath, Milton. We got like 5 or 6 of them. However, health has always been an issue with our wide receivers too. So that comes into play as well. And I just like healthy competition too. So I'm not upset at that. We got some pieces on the offensive line, as far as Jacob Mock, Oladapo, and no, not Oladapo, Travis Glover. We were able to pick them up as well too. which we need because like the blind side has been an issue for a while. And that's become like super stressful for me because if there's anything that I talk about on the offensive line, it's our tackle and our doggone guard. So hopefully with some of these draft picks, you know what I'm saying, they could step in early because they're going to be asked to do that too, right off the cuff. And I just hope that, you know, they bring that experience with them. But with that being said, like I've said it before, the NFC North is competitive. Like, you know, it looked like everybody that needed to re-upped. Doggone Bears went all in with draft picks as well as free agency. So, you know, let's see if that can correlate to wins this year. You know, Minnesota's still a threat. The Lions are going to be there. Yeah, I wasn't upset when any of the draft picks that we had for this year. There was a sense of relief this year. So I was like, we drafted what we needed. So I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys did a solid draft. You know, I think on our side of the ball, you know, I think when I look at the Giants, we've gone from a pony team, a junior pony team to a peewee team. So it's not going to get much better for us. When I look at, you know, the picks and things that we had, you know, getting Carter, you know, on the edge, you know, coming out of Penn State, that's one of those up in the air where, you know, we had a chance to go out and get Shador. And I will say this, I'm not surprised that we didn't, only because just understanding the ownership, the Maras and things of that nature. I personally never, as much, and we talked about it here on the show, I thought Shador was the best fit for New York. He's got the arm strength. I think he had the personality, the swag and everything to deal with the New York media. I thought it would have been seamless with him and Malik. But I'm not surprised that they chose to go back in the draft and take Jackson Dart. Dart just seems to be that Dable type of quarterback, you know, like Allen up in Buffalo. So that seems his comfort zone, you know, going out and get Russell Wilson. I would have passed on that. We went out and got famous Jameis eating doves. I mean, first day of OTAs, what does he do in 7-on-7? Throws a pick in the end zone. Hey, so we've got experience, but we didn't really go out and do much more. Like I said, we went and got the D tackle in the 3rd round, Darius Alexander. We got the running back in the 4th round, Scatterbo. We didn't get an offensive lineman. I mean, the offensive line has been our problem for decades now. We didn't get one into the 5th round. So is this really going to be tough for us? I think this year to even get better. I mean, 3 wins last year? I think I wouldn't be surprised at less wins this year, only because our schedule is just that much more difficult. So it's going to be really hard to really watch and be enthusiastic, because I think we're going to take a lot of lumps. I don't care with Russell back there, Jameson, whoever. I think we need another year of surplus, you know, to be able to go out and get more guys like what you talked about and what you guys are doing in Green Bay, creating competition in positions that are vital for your team's success. And right now, I'm just going to be at the cupboard is bare for us right now. And I have a feeling that this is going to be we're going to be cleaning house at the end of the year with this current regime. And we're going to be hitting the reset. And that kind of scares me, because what we have now may not be what the new regime wants, and we'll be hitting a whole new reset. So it's going to be hard to watch, but we know we're going to hold down the basement in the NFC East, and we're going to continue to look up, you know, at Philadelphia, definitely the best team in our division. I think the Commanders are on to something, but again, looking at we're playing the same type of schedule. Teams are going to have some tape on Jaden. I think it's going to be a little more difficult for them. I don't see double-digit wins this year, but I still have them ahead of Dallas because it's
Dallas.
It's Dallas. Yeah.
If there's any Cowboy fans out there, I am not sorry about that statement.
I'm not either.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
so
I'm not either. Yeah. So, but I'm excited to get into this as we're moving forward. You know, OTAs are back. and then we get into the mandatories. We'll have some more to talk about. But man, it's been a great show tonight, man. We covered a lot of territory. I thank all of you who joined. I still see some of you in the weeds. Thank you for being here. It's been a great conversation, but I do want to just share something because we coming into summertime, and I don't know about you, but when we get to the summer, it's all about hip hop sometime, and we gonna do we're gonna do a rap battle, where you can participate with Sam and I, and you can go online and to Two Mics Up, and you can download for free this little bracket. And we got some rap groups. This is classic rap groups. We left out some that were a little bit bigger than others. We tried to make this as easy and competitive as possible when you look at some of the names: Naughty by Nature, De La, the Yin Yang Twins, Hot Boys, Goody Mob, Dipset, Onyx, on and on and on. You can download it for free. And we'll go bracket by bracket. On the next show, we'll start up top with the Big Timers bracket. Make your picks. Join us, man. Let us know who you rocking with, who you having some fun with. And we're gonna do this because it's summertime. And
yep.
I know I like my hip hop, during the summer, just like so many others. So have fun, join along with us. And Sam, man, it's been another great conversation, brother. Thank you for being here and helping direct this. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Last week I went to EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival.
Okay.
And I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm still recovering from that. It was good to see a lot of melanated people, because sometimes you get in some of these spaces and you feel like you're the only one. And then you see others and you like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? I am not alone. So we kind of like listen to the groove and embrace each other and offer the plur. That's what they call it. Peace, love, unity, and respect. All of that was going around. It was some crazy shit going on too. But it was a good time. So now I done got that bug. So I've been looking at other house and EDM events that's going on across the nation and abroad. So it was a good time.
Bring it back. Bring it all back. All that stuff. Look, Sam is a very it does sound like fun right now. I mean, I can't even lie. Kind of right up my alley. I'm down for stuff like that. But for those of you who don't know, Sam is a very intricate brother. He has his hands in many things. He's a virtuoso, as some people might say. But you can check him out online too. He'll whether it be a Tuesday Blitz or he'll on our Mayhem show, man. He's a veteran. He's a gamer. He's a damn good chef. You see, he's in the EDM. We in the wrestling. All kind of things, man. So check him out. Sam, you still gaming, bro? People can still hit you up online.
Yeah, as always, like I said, first off, PMCR or PCMR, PC Master Race.
Okay.
With that being said, you can catch me on all gaming, I guess all gaming platforms, whether it's Epic, Steam, Ubisoft, Old Sarge Gaming. Just hit me up. Currently, I am playing Division 2. They just had the Fight for Brooklyn DLC that dropped. So it's putting you like right there in the backdrop of Brooklyn, and you're going after the wolves and the hounds and everything, trying to stop weapons of mass destruction and everything. So I like these landmarks just for the fact, like beforehand, Division 2 came over there and they were based out of DC. So it's good to go to some of these landmarks that they have in the game. And it's like, oh yeah, I was hanging out over there. So I'm pretty sure if someone was to pick this up, and you will see some familiar areas within the game. You have the Brooklyn Bridge in the backdrop. So it's all like real locations, streets, avenues, the whole nine. So one thing about Ubisoft, even though they're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? they're a little skeptic when it comes to their pay practices with gaming. They are really realistic when it comes to the realism of their games as far as locations and set pieces and everything. So shout out to them for that.
Okay. Well, listen, for those of you who game, who interested in gaming, y'all can catch Sam. Y'all can rock with him. I want to thank you all. Hey, I see Olympia. Hey, thanks for joining us, sis. Good seeing you. Appreciate you. Look, we're gonna close out, man, and I'm gonna leave you all with a couple of things. Look, so this is our Friday night mic'd up mayhem segment that we're going to continue. Sports and entertainment. Feel free, Fridays 8 p.m. If you want to watch Two Mics Up, you can watch the show Monday nights 8 p.m. by downloading the free, get it while it's free, Mogul TV Global app on your Amazon or Roku TV device. And then you download that and you'll check out Infusion TV, my all new streaming channel, where you can catch all the Two Mics Up and all the other shows that, are airing on the network. You can also catch me Fridays at 1 p.m. on Two Mics Up Business Corner. Like I said, you got Sam and I here on YouTube, Facebook Live, Friday nights. So I hope you all are enjoying that. If you want to support the show, hey, look, support is great. If you want to go ahead and support the show, you can hit us up at 2micsupllc@gmail.com. Any type of support would help, to help us keep bringing great content and conversation like this each and every time we get together on a Friday, get together on a Wednesday or Monday. So we appreciate you and your support, and thank you for tuning in. And like I said, season 8, Two Mics Up on Infusion TV rolls along, coming up on 200 episodes. Man, 5 years, 5 years, 200 episodes. And I thank you all for being a part of that. And like we do, ladies and gentlemen, at the close and the end of each and every segment, I'll leave you with a couple of things. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mics up.